I used to stay with Mamaw. And Mamaw.
Which Mamaw?
Mamaw Daniel.
Thank you.
That's the only one we have.
Mamaw was the lady of the night. Mamaw was the lady of the night. And you know, we look at Dad and we think about why Dad was the way he was. And I've thought about this many times. And my grandmother used to lay in the bed at night and tell me stories when it was dark. And they would raise the hair on your neck. It was some of her experiences. Yeah. She lived on Brownies Creek, and there was a place in the gap. You want to cross the mountain over into Virginia. That was come down, and it was called the McLean Crossing, 53 in Virginia. But she didn't go that far. She would stop at Poor Valley, because Poor Valley was where all the Brody houses were. And that's where she liked to spend her time.
So Mamaw Daniel was a woman of the night.
She was a woman of the night. She loved the Brody houses in Poor Valley, Virginia.
And she
stayed there.
And she had an illegitimate child, Uncle Bill.
Right. Yeah, but that was after Jess and Alec were born. Yeah. Now I don't know when Papaw came back.
Was he in the insane asylum?
Yes, he was in the
insane asylum. So she put him in the insane asylum. Yeah, because
she was a Howard, and the Howards ran the courts.
Okay.
No, Mamaw wasn't
in
a Howard.
Harlan County.
Mamaw was not a Howard.
Well, she's half Howard.
No, she was a Wilson.
She was half Howard.
She was a Wilson.
That's right.
She was really a Daniels.
Yes, she was.
Mamaw she was a dark person. I never ever remember her smiling. I never remember her smiling. I remember her mouth. It was always she was like really angry.
Well, every morning she would get up. When I was staying with her, every morning she would get up and she would
make cornbread.
She'd take coffee. She'd take coffee in her fingers and put it in a pan, put water in it and boil it. And then she'd pour that coffee in a cup. And she'd drink that cup, and then when she'd get down almost to the bottom, she would drink it until she get just the right amount. Then she'd turn the cup up to find out where Uncle Bill was that day.
She was a witch.
Yeah.
She was in the dark stuff.
Yeah, she was in the dark stuff.
Yeah. Well,
but she made good cornbread.
She was coming back from Poor Valley, Virginia one night and said it was early in the morning. And she said the horse knew the way to go, so she could just practically sit there and sleep and the horse would take her home. And she said they got up on the flats. You know where the flats are, up on the top of the mountain up there?
Yeah, where Stone Mountain and Brush Mountain.
Yeah, so she got up on the flats and said the horse would just walk along through there by itself and she didn't have to worry about it too much. She said the horse started stopping and his flank would start quivering. She said she kind of woke up and looked up there and she said there was something up there. She said that there was a demon up there. Said I could see it rising up. Said I could see it rising up. Said I couldn't get that horse to go any further. So she got off the horse and she started walking toward it. And she said, when I got up there right close to it, she said I started running and said it disappeared and said I reached out to grab it like that, and she grabbed the stump. She said she just knew it was a demon. She said I thought I had a demon.
Oh, she was not very pretty. But she had this cold stove. And on the side of it, she always had a pound of cornbread, and it was yellow. I mean, it was like really yellow cornbread.
Right on yellow corn.
You stayed with Papaw that spring, right?
Right.
And I stayed with Papaw that fall.
What year?
Because you left. You left home.
Now that's Papa Bradford.
Papaw Bradford.
Yeah.
And that was in '59. You graduated in '59.
No, I graduated in '57. You graduated in '59, or '50, or '60.
Graduated 60.
Grandma died. Grandma died earlier than that. Then.
Did you find out when Aunt Margaret died?
Huh?
When Aunt Margaret died?
Mother died in 1968.
Who did?
And her illegitimate son, we were always scared of. Anytime he came to stay with us.
They were.
Oh, Lord have mercy. She told us, don't get
She never
around
told me
him.
that. Did she ever tell you that, Doc? Watch out for all that.
Oh, Lord, she told us to.
We would see each other. And he got to where he was drinking
Mary Jane Smith.
whiskey only. That's all he was doing. Whiskey.
Already heard it was while you were taking a shower.
Wow.
And so then he got to where he would get, always had a white Cadillac, and dressed a white suit, and white tie, and white hat. So then he'd get drunk, and when I got drunk, he'd call me, and I'd go get his Cadillac, and we'd drive his Cadillac, and then until I got him bailed out. He would always pay me. He always give me money back every time I got him out.
Yeah.
I'd have to help him. Well, then one night he disappeared, and the state cops were looking for him. He took that Cadillac and left off a telephone pole or tree, right up on top of there. And I didn't know this, but the guy told me later on that he was his buddy. And he flipped that off, and he called his buddy and told him, and he went in the woods, and the state police were there. And the state police told, I actually went where he lived. He rented not very far from here. And the state police told me, it says, we hope he's gone and never comes back. And that's what really happened to you. That we flipped this telephone pole or tree off, and I think he signed off the car before that. We ran into the woods, and he called us, or got somewhere to get a phone and called us, got to come get him. He took get that.
And that was in the early 50s?
Oh, no, that was been
About 61 or 2 or 3.
Then he got a place down on the Primal Road there, remember? And that place he was living in, a place that garage or something, and it burned. And Daddy thought he burned.
Oh yeah, Daddy thought it was dead, and they dredged the river and all that crap.
Well, they wanted to report it.
He was
He's supposed
just.
to have 2 children.
He does have 2 children,
Supposed to have 2 children.
and they're in St. Petersburg. They weren't twins though.
Okay.